Okay, let's unpack this. We're talking about a product ad that got something like 50 million views.
50 million, it's huge.
It is. We're doing a deep dive into that spiral ear cleaner, the Tvidler Pro.
And really our goal here is to look at the marketing claims for this tool and, put them up against the established scientific consensus and some of the consumer transparency practices we found.
This is all based on the source material we reviewed.
Exactly. And just the mandatory reminder, this is educational commentary. It is not medical advice.
So the big promise, the reason it went viral, is this idea that it's a safer way to clean your ears than a cotton swab.
Right. It has that corkscrew-shaped silicone tip.
And it's supposed to grab the wax, not push it deeper.
Yeah.
They even say it's tested to American standards and recommended by ENT doctors.
And that's where things get interesting because those claims start to diverge pretty quickly from what you hear from medical professionals.
Now, so
Well, the guidance from audiologists, for instance, at the Pennsylvania Ear Institute it's really clear.
don't stick things in your ear.
Pretty much. They strongly caution against inserting any object smaller than your elbow into the ear canal.
It's one of those things that sounds so basic, but people just keep doing it.
And it ignores a key fact. The Cleveland Clinic points this out. Our ears are self-cleaning.
They clean themselves.
They do. And if you start interfering with that natural process, you could actually disrupt it and, well, cause the very problems you're trying to solve.
So if these spiral tools actually worked as advertised, you'd think ENTs would be using them.
You would, but they don't. For impacted wax, professionals use procedures like microsuction or irrigation, not a little plastic spiral.
Because
Because the consensus is that the plastic is too flexible and the wax is too sticky. So instead of scooping it out, the tool often just spins in place, or worse, compacts everything deeper.
closer to the eardrum.
Exactly, into the danger zone.
Okay, so if the function is questionable, what about the results? I've seen the ads with these huge chunks of wax they pull out.
Right, those gold nugget photos. But then you look at consumer reports, like reviews on Walmart's site, and you see people saying the tool removed absolutely nothing.
Just a total contradiction.
And beyond not working, there's a discussion around potential risk. There are ongoing reports suggesting that the mechanical twisting action of the device may cause irritation to the very delicate lining of the ear canal.
That makes sense.
And in certain cases that are under investigation, there are concerns this irritation could potentially lead to perforations in the eardrum.
So we have a product where the function is medically contradicted and the performance reports are, I guess, mixed at best. How does that get 50 million views?
That brings us right to the marketing playbook.
This is where it gets really interesting.
The first thing you notice is the discount dynamic.
The 70% off sale.
A 70% off sale that seems to run perpetually. It creates this constant sense of urgency, but there's no actual scarcity. The deal never ends.
But that's not even the biggest issue, is it? I read about the checkout process.
No, it's not. Multiple customers have reported a really concerning pattern where the system allegedly added extra unrequested units to their order,
So you go to buy one.
and you end up getting billed for 8.
Wow. And then trying to return them.
That's the other logistical hurdle. The company might claim a New York address, but when customers try to make a return, they're reportedly told they have to pay to ship the product all the way to Germany.
Which for most people is just not worth it.
Correct. So it really raises questions about their operational transparency.
So if you pull all of this together, what's the final picture?
Our deep dive shows this huge gap. On one side, you have incredibly aggressive viral marketing. It relies on urgency, those enticing photos.
And on the other side,
You have the medical consensus about ear safety, plus all these concerning reports about the device's actual performance and the company's transparency.
so what does this all mean for you, the listener? I guess here's the final thought. Given how persuasive and widespread online ads for health products are, how can you best verify a product's safety and effectiveness when the marketing claims seem to directly conflict with what doctors recommend?